Hello everyone and welcome to this video about Nuzlocking Metal Gear Solid 5. So I'm going to explain some things about this challenge and how you can apply it in your game. So first you should use a clean save file and use some mods that I will describe a bit later. So to start, what is the Nuzlocke challenge? A Nuzlocke challenge consists of applying Permadeath rule in a game not intended to have this gameplay mechanic. The challenge was initially invented by Pokemon player, and you might have heard of it if you are on this video. You must ask yourself why applying Permadeath in Metal Gear Solid 5, it's a long game, it seems very hard. Well, Permadeath makes game more challenging and forces you to carefully think about your actions. This is a good way to replay a game that you already know well, especially if you feel stuck in a gameplay loop. For this purpose, this challenge also offers additional rules to make the Nuzlocke experience more interesting for MGS Vs. In fact, its main goal is more about making you play with a different perspective than playing with hard rules. It's even very hard to get completely stuck in this Nuzlocke because Snake, we will see, is the only one that cannot really die in the game. I'm going to explain a bit further how it works. So the general idea of the challenge is around 3 rules. You no longer play with Big Boss as soon as possible. Instead, you play with the Mother Base recruit. Second, you dismiss any recruit who dies during a mission. And third, you limit the usable equipment based on the stats of the character you are playing. This is at the core of the challenge. So for the details, the thing is that you are going to play with Diamond Dog recruits, and their statistics will change the equipment you can take. So, first rule, any game over must lead to immediate termination of the player Diamond Dog recruit. There are some sub-rules to this, but I'll let you read the document in the description to see them. Second, as soon as possible, play with Diamond Dog's recruits instead of Snake, both for the main and secondary missions. As soon as you can, you stop playing Big Boss. That's as easy as this. Choose the equipment assigned to your character based on which one you are playing. The equipment allowed for each unit depends on the statistics for the different units. And Big Boss has a special equipment rules for the mission where you are forced to play him, meaning the first missions. You have to play with the mod No More Volunteers by Aons, that is on Nexus mod. I have put a link for it in the description and in the document. And you have some prohibited items like optical camouflage, chicken mask, this kind of thing. So the core of the challenge is how you will equip your recruit. To sum it up, the level in each ability of your recruit defines the total number of stars your equipment of each type can have. For one level in an ability, your recruit has 1 more star for the corresponding type of equipment. The number of items transported is not influenced by this rule, it's the total of stars and the various items carried that matter. Only the main weapon always have at least 1 star. Other stats do not allow any equipment to be worn if the recruit has an E on it. This will be implemented later. So here on the screen are the different statistics that any recruit has and what is influenced in this challenge. So the combat unit statistic is for the main weapon, defines the number of stars that you get to use for your weapon. The research and development is the number of stars allocated to support weapons, like grenades, mines, throwing magazines, this kind of thing. The base development is for the number of soldiers that you can extract via Fulton on every mission with this recruit. This will basically be the number of new lives you can get every mission. And the support unit is for the number of stars allocated to secondary weapon, meaning pistols. Then there is Intel, that is for the authorized teammate. It works a bit differently. If you have a E, you don't get any teammate. If you have a D or more, you get D horse. If you have a B or more, you get D dog. And if you have a S or more, you get quiet. You can of course choose between them, but it's a minimum to get these teammates. Finally, the medic part is for the allocated stars on the items. cardboards, cigars, and things. There are some sub-rules for this that I will explain just after, but this is the essential part. So let's take for example Biting Barracuda. That is one of the first recruits you can get in the game. Is A+ in combat, so you can wield 1 or 2 main weapons which must not exceed the sum of 6 stars. For example, a rifle with 2 stars and a sniper with 4 stars. Is D in support, allows him to take a 1-star secondary weapon, while his E in research and development does not allow him to get any gadgets or any support weapons like grenades. This is how you will apply it for every character. It's actually pretty simple to do once you get it, and especially if you have the little tables I've put on the screen. It is fairly easy to apply, and it will actually change a lot the way you play, because you will have to make different choices based on your equipment. When you play normally the game, you will generally feel stuck in the loop of using trunk weapons and suppressors, so you always do the same thing. Here you will have to use different weapons, different equipment. For this specific purpose, there are some additional rules, like the one on screen. So for example, you can decide to have a minimum in A in combat unit to wield the combat armor, or a minimum in A in medic to equip the tranquilizer weapons, which I highly recommend because it really changed the way you play. With this rule, not only you will stop using tranquilizer weapon or suppressor, but you will also start to think, which recruit do I send? The thing is, if you send a recruit that has A in medic ability, it probably means that you took it from the medic unit, so you are actually losing a recruit from another unit of the base. And you have to carefully choose, because that's one recruit less for developing weapons, for curing other recruits on the base, and you will really manage your base with this. Finally, there are some optional gameplay rules that I recommend to enable too. For example, disabling some options like reflex mode and the display of marker on the screen. You should not redo any mission before completing the last one. Pickwood crash should also mean that you will terminate another recruit. No airstrike, no supply request, this kind of thing. You can choose whichever you like the most. In the document, in the description, I have put in bold the option that I personally recommend, because I think they make a balanced challenge. But I've put some more that are interesting and that I've tested a little bit while playing, and that can be interesting to make the game more challenging but not too punitive. Well, that's all. In the end of the document there is also a little list of mods that can help you make the experience better. There is especially one mod that you absolutely need to put in the game, is no more volunteer, because it will limit the number of recruits in your base, and there won't be any random recruits between missions. I've put some other if you want better experience, but they are not mandatory. Well, thanks for watching, and have fun playing on the Nuzlocke MGS V challenge. I'd love to hear your experience with the challenge in comments or via mail, or maybe Discord if I open one for this. For me it was a very interesting way of playing the game, because I knew it very well, and I think it made it very refreshing to play. So I hope you will enjoy it as much as me. And yeah, thanks for watching, have a good day.